Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
My anus is bleeding!
He can't sit down.
They call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Beta bear.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. I tell you don't do it.
Oops.
We're under attack. It is an alien force, not of this world. It's not human intelligence.
Bullshit.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Bullshit.
It's not a salami sandwich.
Disappointed!
Repeat the line.
Disappointed!
How you like that, boy?
No.
Give me a break.
Stop it.
Fired.
Fired! Fired!
Bitch, move it along.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
The Republican Party's racist.
Oh my God! He admitted it!
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation. Okay. Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. We got a show. We got quite a show. We've got texts. More Mark Meadows texts. This was a surprise. A little bit of an early Christmas present, perhaps. Speaking of Christmas, we got a War on Christmas segment. Oh, yay, goody. It is that time of year, after all. So we've got that at the end of the show. Of course, Fox News, War on Christmas, as always, fun times. We got giant demonic portals over the White House. Fantastic. And then Candace Owens, big fan of discrimination. So, of course, we're going to go through the ghouls, GOP ghouls, but then we're also going to have a Republican clowning on Giuliani, almost literally. So fun times. So that said, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. With that, why don't we dive in? Fun. It appears Christmas has come early. We have on Monday more Mark Meadows texts. Fun. Okay, so now Talking Points Memo has recently announced that it obtained more than 2,000 text messages that former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows had given to the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection. That was, of course, before Mark Meadows decided to no longer, cooperate with said investigation. So now, the text messages, again, there's a lot, and Talking Points Memo is still going through a bunch of them. But what we have so far are some pretty unhinged ones about trying to steal the election for Donald Trump. And some of them verge into I guess the area of sedition. That said, let's get into it. Now, from Talking Points Memo, after Election Day 2020, various Republican lawmakers had pushed the idea that Vice President Mike Pence,
Mike Pounds.
Yeah. Could, get authority to basically cancel the election. And cancel the certification and, hand power over to Donald Trump. Now, of course, in the real world, in the Constitution, the vice president does not have that power. It's merely a ceremonial role. But, Republicans, and mind you, this isn't just rando Republican on the street. This is, we have been elected to higher office, so we should probably know the Constitution because we always talk about it all the time about how, oh, Democrats, they hate the Constitution. They don't know what's in the Constitution. You literally don't know what's in the Constitution. You don't know what Vice President Mike Pence's job is. You don't know the limits of his authority. Anyway, so that said, they believe that, Pence, who was presiding over the election certification, could just not do it, and then somehow magically Donald Trump would continue to be president. That was one problem. Another problem is afterwards, these lawmakers believed that Republican-controlled legislatures and states that Biden had won could just throw out those results and, recognize alternative slates of fake electors. These are, again, not the real electors. These are fake electors who, no matter what the actual results of the election, whether it be, Biden or Trump, they just feel like, well, automatically Donald Trump, obviously, because we're hacks, we're phonies, we're fakes, we're partisans. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do what they tell us to. And that's put in electoral college votes for Donald Trump so that he can steal the election and be dictator. So there it is. Now, look, there's a name to this: Green Bay sweep. This is the thing that Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon openly bragged about. So it's not like we didn't know about this. They were quite open about it, how they wanted to upend democracy and steal elections. The same thing, of course, they're accusing Democrats of doing in this election. But every accusation, of course, is a confession. So now, it's one thing, of course, where idiots like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro openly talk about this and brag about it and write it in their books. It's another thing when, Republican congressmen who actually have power talk about this. And that's what they did in these text messages. In fact, Representative Ralph Norman from Texas said this. Here's one of his texts. Mark, in seeing what's happening so quickly and reading about the Dominion lawsuits attempting to stop any meaningful investigation, we are at a point of no return in saving our republic. Our last hope is invoking martial law. Please urge President to do so. Now, it's fun to point out that martial law was spelled incorrectly. Because, of course, it was. Clown, moron, idiot, stupid, dumbest people alive. But dumb people, and unfortunately in positions of power. So, martial law, literally bringing in the military to make sure Donald Trump stays president. To take it over for Donald Trump. It's crazy. Oh, but there's more. There's more. He said this, guys, if there was ever a time to stand with our leader who has strengthened our military. Bruh. I mean, the whole point of strengthening our military. What does Congress do every time there's a military appropriations bill? When there's a chance to shovel more money at the military, what happens? Under both parties, they keep shoveling more. The last NDAA gave the military, the Pentagon budget, like something like $83 billion more than they had previously asked for. The military budget is now over $863 billion. This is more than most other countries combined military spending. But it was Donald Trump that strengthened the military. No, both members of both parties can't wait to shovel more money into the military-industrial complex because guess what? That's a lot of where their donors are at. They all do it. But no, Donald Trump strengthened the military somehow by doing what every single president for a long time, decades and decades, has done, and shovel more money at the military. Okay, anyway. So now he said this, or I should say he continued. Guys, if there was ever a time to stand with our leaders, strengthen our military, stood for the life of the unborn, supported Israel, of course, built the wall, which he didn't, appointed conservative judges. Well, he actually did do that. Fair enough. We're factual on this show. Yes, he did appoint conservative judges. And we are all, feeling the consequences of that one, especially if you're somebody with a uterus. You're definitely feeling those consequences. And then says, and we lay down and abandon him just because the biased media has called, I'm reading it verbatim, call the election.
This election is about the people.
Biased media. Like Fox News. Biased media. I can't believe the biased media would actually say things that we don't like. That must be that they're against us because they didn't give us or tell us the result that we wanted. No, that just means they're being factual because they're forced to be factual. But of course, now's the time to fight and advocate for a recount in Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. I don't have problems with recounts, especially in close elections. I think, yeah, that's totally fine. You have the power to do that. But then added, I will go anywhere, anytime to help our cause. Bottom line, it's time we fight for the one person who has changed this country way too soon to give in now. All right. But there's more. Representative Brian Babin of, again, Texas. There's a lot of people from Texas. Texas, what are you doing? Mark, when we lose Trump, we lose our republic. Fight like hell and find a way. We're with you down here in Texas and refuse to live under a corrupt Marxist dictatorship. Liberty! I'm not kidding. At the end of that text, liberty.
Stupid.
Oh my God. that by the way, that's why we want you to overturn the will of the people in the election, because we believe in liberty. Okay, guys. Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania. We're in Philadelphia suing Pennsylvania Secretary of State for her illegal meddling in this election, and will continue to expose fraudulent actions. Let me know if there's anything I can do to fight these MFers in PA. Our president is heroic. Bunker bitch. They're talking about bunker bitch. The guy who hid in the bunker. Yeah, okay. And then, by the way, I will walk down with you to Pennsylvania Avenue. And then, what did he do? He walked right back to, the White House to go eat a hamburger. That's what he did. And watch TV. Of course, he had to watch TV. Thank you for all you've done, and please let the president know just how much he's loved and appreciated in Pennsylvania. Sincerely, Mike Kelly.
Beta male.
Okay. Keep kissing that ass. Here's Representative Louis Gohmert. Our favorite moron. Which, by the way, he was like the dumbest person in Congress. Not anymore. I mean, we haven't heard a lot from him because all the stuff that he said that back in the day everybody's like, oh my God, that's insane. Now it's just like, it's like mid-tier. It's not even, it's hardly worth covering anymore. With like the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Louis, you got to step up your game, brother. You were just being outclassed by insanity. Outclassed. Here's what he said. Mark, Love for Growth wanted me to help in Georgia December 11th and 12th on their bus tour. Ugh. Imagine the smell inside that bus. I've also been asked to help this weekend while I'm still trying to spur people to get real winner of Prez recognized, since without the Prez officially reelected, we're done. Would it be possible to ride Air Force One to Georgia on Saturday? He wants a personal ride to Air Force One to Georgia. I'd only need a ride down since I'd stay there longer. Pay for your own fucking ride. Also, if Prez said anytime I could drop by today, would love to see you both. Thanks, Louie. Representative Paul Gosar of Arizona. When is the 45 days up? What date starts the clock? November 3rd? If it is, then that is December 18th. China bought Dominion in October for $400 million. If that's not interference, then should have a report with details and specifics that would validate that either way. And if they didn't, call me. I have some fireworks coming out of Arizona early tomorrow. Call me anytime. I'm up. Fun. Very, very fun. Let me just note that Dominion is not owned by China. Okay. In fact, they don't even have, they don't have Chinese investors. So, I mean, just weirdo stuff. I mean, the conspiracy theory. You're going to love the name of a conspiracy blog, by the way, that one of them shared in these text messages, but we'll get to that. Representative Andrew Clyde of Georgia. Here's what he said. I would like to pass the POTUS that we are still with him. I believe in him, and I want to encourage him. I will do my best to continue to fight for election integrity by, trying to help steal an election based on nonsense. I truly hope he does create a new platform to compete with Twitter, and I hope he calls it Trumpet. And then we can send out notes to each other. Notes, little love letters or something. I mean,
beta male, beta.
Oh, jeez. Trumpet? Trumpet. Wow. Now, of course, he kind of got his wish. It's not called Trumpet, but we got
Truth Central.
There you go. Truth Central. Now we have, of course, a man who covered up sex crimes in Ohio, Representative Jim Jordan. Here's what he said. His text. Vice President Mike Pence should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all. He can't do that. That's not his thing. He doesn't have any powers. But then they try to justify it by saying, well, he does have powers because look at this. Alexander Hamilton, the Federalist Papers, and goes on to cite it. Following this rationale, he says, an unconstitutionally appointed elector, like an unconstitutionally enacted statute, is no elector at all. Well, that would mean that your fake electors are not electors at all, because that's what they are. They're fake and unconstitutionally appointed. Just saying. So that said, did Alexander Hamilton write that actions violative of the Constitution are invalid? Yes, he did. He also wrote that the federal courts would be the arbiters of that in such an instance and not the vice president of the United States. It's this whole little thing called checks and balances. They should really look into it. The thing called the Constitution that they love to cite but never really actually know what's in it. Kind of like the Bible. But okay, all right. Now that said, they did bring it to the courts. And the courts did rule on it like 60 times. They lost. And by the way, the Supreme Court said, we're not even touching this. We're getting it. We're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. We're getting nowhere near this, okay? Not touching it. Now, look, that's just a small taste of some of the texts. Many of them, of course, are filled with some links to far-right websites, of course, weird, questionable legal theories, as I've given you, and violent rhetoric, as well as advocacy for unconstitutional power grabs, as usual, unsurprising. But one example that I absolutely love is for the allegations of voter fraud, what Paul Gosar sent Mark Meadows a link to. A blog called, I kid you not, Some Bitch Told Me. Hey, did you know that, oh man, there's so much good information about how we caught voter fraud in a blog called Some Bitch Told Me. I look, I can't even. Stupid. It's just it's so incredibly dumb. Stupid. I can't believe it.
You idiot.
No. These are Republican elected officials. You guys. Republican elected officials. And look, these are bad, obviously, but of course the worst, going back to Ralph Norman, was wanting to use the military to declare martial law to prevent the lawfully elected president from assuming office. You know what that's called? It's called a coup. That's what that is. It's a coup. And yet, not one of these officials is facing any consequences for calling for the overthrow of our government and trying and plotting to, hand a presidency over to somebody who didn't actually win it. These are elected officials. Look, I understand, the whole issue of, these texts being free speech, right? Free speech as a citizen means the government can't come after you for a redress of your grievances. I believe in free speech. I actually understand the reality of what free speech is. That said, I think there's a different standard when it comes to serving in government. When you not only call for, but you actually work towards attempting to, overthrow said government that you work for, I'm thinking there might be some sort of, or should be some sort of consequence for that, which, by the way, is written in the Constitution, which prevents them, if enacted, from holding elected office again. Because it's very, very clear to me that they don't believe in the same government, the very government that they have been elected to serve, and would gladly turn it into a fascist dictatorship if they had the chance. Okay. Anyway. A site called Bitches with Receipts might consider, well, I mean, yeah, because you got receipts. I like receipts. Receipts are good. All right. I would have cited the blog Just Asking Questions, which I made up, but it's probably real. Maybe. Oh, we're just asking questions. Just asking questions. Okay, anyway. Let's move on. Should have seen the comments. That is 20 minutes back. Oh no, believe me. I understand. I understand. Believe me. All right. Recently, Talking Points memo revealed some text messages that we hadn't seen before between Republican politicians and former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. One set of messages exchanged between Meadows and Representative Andy Biggs, one of the members of the Insurrection Caucus, by the way, discussed how to overthrow the Arizona election results, and while doing so, eventually threw shade at former Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani. Fun. So now, here's what one of the texts was. Hey, Mark, the circus is coming to town tomorrow, and I wanted your input. Now, in case you're wondering what the circus is, it's not the real circus, which is actually fun and entertaining. And, for all family, or all members of the family, right? Well, this circus is Rudy Giuliani, who regularly COVID farts on people and has hair dye leaking out of his head. Now, in fact, here's more of the message here. Giuliani and company will be in downtown Phoenix. I'm planning on being there. Anything I should look for? Anything I should look out for your address when I speak to the crowd? Now, TPM reports that the following day, November 30th, Giuliani and his team held what they had dubbed a hearing at a hotel in downtown Phoenix, which, by the way, was not an official hearing. It was just a bunch of randos. In a recap of the session, the Arizona Republic newspaper noted that despite the title, it was not an official legislative event, and that Biggs and Gozar were seated behind Giuliani as various witnesses went up and basically told election fraud conspiracy theories. Great. In one example of how the circus is, Giuliani had asked how many non-citizens had voted in the election. So again, that's one of the things that they talk about. Oh, you have all these illegal, undocumented aliens coming in. They're beaming down in their UFOs and they're casting ballots. They're illegal. They're the illegal aliens. You know what I'm saying?
It's not human intelligence. It is an alien force, not of this world.
They're coming in. They're the aliens, and they're voting for Democrats. I don't know why. I don't get it. It's an alien agenda. You know what I mean? Undocumented immigrants. But anyway, who knows? We're dealing with idiots. We're dealing with people that are, should be in a mental institution somewhere. So, of course, maybe they do actually mean aliens. I don't know. That's it. They asked how many non-citizens voted in the election, and Giuliani suggested that Arizona had, remember this number, 5 million illegal aliens living in the state. 5 million. Now, there's a little bit of a problem with the math, you see, but here's what he said before I get to that. Let's say there were 5 million illegal aliens in Arizona. It is beyond credulity that a few 100,000 didn't vote. Let me just note that undocumented immigrants actually can't vote. They're not allowed to vote. But again, let's get to the math, because math matters. Arizona has a total population of 7.3 million people. If 5 million are undocumented, you got a big problem. That's huge. Oops. That just doesn't work out. That would be over 70% of the state being undocumented. That's, that does not seem correct at all. But that's what the hearing is. It is a circus. It's a clown show. That's Giuliani and Gozar and Biggs. All those people, clowns. They're clowns, and no one should take them seriously at all. That's a circus. Now, by the way, another person that was there, Jenna Ellis. But see, here's the thing, too. No one else in that crowd, when he made these crazy assertions, would correct him. I'm pretty sure that everybody there at that meeting was looking at shit like, are you an alien? What if you're an alien? Are you undocumented? Let me see your Let me see your documents. Papers! Give me your papers, please. They're that close, by the way, to it. Not one person was like, hey, that math doesn't make sense, Rudy. I'm just saying. Look, what I get from this is that really, when it comes to at least Andy Biggs, I don't know about Gozar, because Gozar, his entire family thinks he's insane and literally put out campaign videos for Gozar's opponent saying, don't vote for my brother, he's crazy. But Andy Biggs, I'm pretty sure he knows, or I could make an argument that he knows, that their arguments about massive voter fraud are just patently false. They're just making it up. They know they're full of shit. Now, that said, why do they still do it? Well, I think it's obvious. They hate our democracy. They hate our system of government, and they want a dictator in power. In this case, that dictator would be Donald Trump. They only care about their own power, and as such, will support any lie or any conspiracy theory that helps them, that allows them to trick people, to dupe people, into allowing them to continue to take power. That's who these people are. I would say that, maybe there would be a good mix of stupid and fascist, but then I realized all fascists are stupid. That's part of what makes them fascist. Speaking of stupid, we have we just got so much stupid here. All right. Oh boy. We've got demons. We got diamonds. in what may be a great example of why we need guaranteed mental health care in this country, Roger Stone recently claimed that there is a demonic portal that has been sitting above the White House ever since Biden had taken over.
I think that there has that a portal, a demonic portal, opened above the White House around the time that the Bidens moved in. This was brought to my attention by a Christian who lives in North Florida, who sent me a bunch of photographs and a bunch of documents, and also some notations in the Bible about portals. And I was like, okay, sure, okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you should start out by being skeptical and saying that sounds insane to me.
Exactly what I did.
But please continue.
So I was skeptical about it, but I looked at the photos, and you can also, there's a live cam where you can actually see in real time, and there does appear to be something, above the White House.
Something inexplicable.
Well, at first you say, well, maybe it's a reflection, or maybe it's an aerostat balloon. Maybe there's a logical. So I called a police officer I know, who works in Arlington, it's a friend of mine, and I said, look, do me a favor, would you go down and check this out? He said, are you out of your mind? I said, no, just humor me. Just humor me. Go down there and check it out and tell me call me back and tell me what you see.
Right.
And take photos. And he called me back about 2.5 hours later and he said, you're not going to believe this, but there's definitely something there. And it's there. He said, other people were there photographing it. One man called and said, you can see it day or night. It's like a smudge in the sky. It almost looks like a cloud that doesn't move. But when you zoom in on it, with a telephonic lens, it's swirling like a cauldron.
Okay. So.
It's the devil, okay?
That's his explanation for everything. Also.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
But you don't want to do that. You don't want to get in the tube with demons. All right? So look, it's funny because he mentioned the live cam. So I actually went and looked at the live cam, and I kind of wish I hadn't. Not because I, saw anything there that was weird or sketchy or some sort of weird swirling cauldron-y demonic portal. No, it's because the live chatters, half of them were MAGA chuds that were saying the most insane, stupid things. And then I was reminded that there's so many dumb people on the internet. And I lose my faith in humanity.
You idiot.
They're so stupid. There's something wrong with them. And so, look, the only thing that I saw there were clouds. No swirling cauldrons, no demons. Nothing like that. But yet, by the way, there's more to this. Let's get to the next video.
So this is a cop.
Yes.
Telling you that he doesn't know what the heck it is, but
it's something.
But yeah, there's something there.
Correct. And therefore,
has this persisted?
Yes, it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Okay, that's nuts. Like, how has the media not covered this?
Well, the media doesn't cover a lot of things that are true.
Oh, that it. I love. Why is the media not covering this? This should be a gigantic story. I mean, there's a demonic portal over the White House. It's just sitting there with demons. They're all coming out. They're in the White House. The demons are everywhere. Yes. By the way, it was a cop that told me. Let me tell you. Let me fill you in on a little secret. Okay. Some cops are stupid. I know. Crazy, huh? You know what? Not just cops. There are some politicians that are really stupid. There are people that are stupid. Stupid. Very, I know. Amazing, right? Yes. Some people are. Okay, to give you an example of how some police officers can be stupid. During the years of COVID, what was the number one killer of police officers in the line of duty? wasn't drugs, wasn't crime. It was COVID. Because they decided, well, we're not going to wear no masks. We're not going to do no vaccines. No, we're going to just, we're tough guys. We're cops. We can just shoot COVID. Yeah, we can just shoot it with our gun. Yeah, we're going to brutalize it like we do minorities. Yeah. We're going to treat it like we treat a black man. Stupid. Just because you're a police officer doesn't mean that you were right about demonic portals. That's, oh my God. So, and now the fun thing is, right? Getting back to the whole media point. Why isn't the media covering the obvious demonic portal? It's funny because you compare what the right wing is talking about, which is demonic portals, war on Christmas, we'll get that segment later, and how the woke mind virus is taking over. Whereas Democrats, especially progressives, were like, hey, we should talk about childcare. We should talk about health care, Medicare for all. Now would be a great time to raise the wage to $15 an hour. Do these things that are popular with the American people, and most importantly, would actually help. Childcare, healthcare, good wages, making sure to make things more affordable for the average American family. Help out with that kind of stuff. And then the right wing is just foaming at the mouth with the latest insanity. And it's weird. And you know what? It's funny because they probably will point to these policies that are very popular and be like, oh, you can't have healthcare. You can't have childcare. You know why? That is a tool of Satan. Look, what this is that these people want to distract you. People like Roger Stone. Roger Stone's not crazy. He's a grifter. They're going to distract you with complete and utter nonsense so they can funnel more money to themselves and for the rich. It's already been shown that Roger Stone is a serial liar. You know what? He was literally convicted by a jury on 7 counts of lying to Congress, as well as witness tampering and obstruction of justice. Gee, I wonder if he's an honest actor. Not. He's a dirty trickster, well known. But, since he got out of prison because of Donald Trump, who pardoned him, okay, along with other, grifters, for example, like Dinesh D'Souza. Ever since then, he's been trying to, and I talked about this before on Farron Cousins' show, Ring of Fire. How all you have to do, no matter what you do, if you're a right-winger and you do some of the most horrid shit, all you have to do is come back later and say, I have been bathed in the blood of Jesus and been redeemed. I am a good Christian now. Milo Yiannopoulos, a great example of that. This guy was like, oh, preying on, having adult men have relationships with young teen boys. That's a great thing. Yes, and I think it's very, very good for all of the people that are involved. And everybody's like, the right wing was like, dude, that's not good. That's pedophilia. And we're supposed to be against that, so we have to drum you out. Like, you're gone. And then he comes out later and he's like, oh no, it turns out I'm actually an ex-gay now, and I am completely bathing in the blood of Jesus. So you can forgive me and bring me back. And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. So, again, Roger Stone, liar, total liar. And yet he wants you to believe that he's some sort of Christian prayer warrior. No, he's still a liar. And what he's doing is using Christianity in order to get attention, forgiveness, and most likely money. Money. We see it all the time on the right. That's exactly what the grifters do. Apparently, all you need to do is claim to be a born-again believer, and you can sell right-wingers on anything. That's why the right wing has the most. I would love to see the proportion of people who are just, grifting versus the marks. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a higher amount of marks to grifter ratio here on the right wing. And that's why all the right wing, a lot of these so-called leaders in the right wing movement take advantage of people who don't know any better. Okay. Speaking of grifter, let's go to Candace Owens. Candace Owens is a fan of discrimination. In fact, here she is telling her audience that the United States would be better. Our society would be better if we just had more discrimination.
I definitely discriminate against men that paint their nails and wear dresses. I don't really care how you feel about that. You can wear your dress and you can paint your nails, but I'd prefer you keeping 100 feet away from a playground and all of the feet away from my children and me. If I see you, I'm going to cross the street if I'm with my kids. Oh, Candace, it's not accepting. We need to be more accepting of the people, the men who like to wear panties. I'm good. You can be more accepting of it. You run that risk when you see a guy who looks like a freak and you're with your children and say, to be accepting, I'm going to put my kids next to him. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to go, that looks weird, and I'm going to move away from it.
I would recommend that everybody keep 100 feet away from Candace Owens. Not because of anything, outward about her. Just the fact that she's a hateful, bigoted, terrible person who is grifting, of course, off the most recent conservative moral panics about transgender people. Here's some facts that you won't hear from Candace Owens about trans people. They're actually over 4 times more likely than cisgender people to experience violent victimization. And by the way, as a result of the crap that she is saying. That victimization includes rape, sexual assault, and aggravated or simple assault. This is according to a study by the Williams Institute at UCLA School of Law. Trans people are not the predators. They're the ones being preyed upon, for daring to exist. That's it. All they want to do is exist. They're not after your children. They're not transing them. They're not grooming them. No, look, when it comes to people who prey on children, according to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAINN, the majority of perpetrators of child sexual assault are someone the child or family knows. As many as 93% of victims under the age of 18 actually know their abuser. Usually that abuser happens to be a trusted family, friend, or acquaintance. Or, for example, someone in a position of power, be it a pastor, teacher, something like that. Now, another fact that you won't hear from Candace Owens, because she's not interested in facts, is that they're not likely to be gay or trans. The overwhelming majority of cases show us that most child predators are heterosexual, cisgendered men. Yeah. In fact, in over 100 scientific articles examining sexual violence, researchers had actually found that nearly 80% of the men who molested boys, underage boys, were heterosexual or bisexual, and that most of these men were married and had children of their own. Going back to a 1994 study published in the journal Pediatrics, 3 researchers examined 269 cases of child sexual abuse handled by a regional children's hospital. The kinds of children's hospitals that now the right wing is getting bomb threats to. Researchers examined charts related to each of the cases, 78% of which involved girls and 22% of which involved boys, to determine the alleged offender's gender and whether they were reported as gay, lesbian, or bisexual. They found that only 2 out of the 269 individuals accused of child sexual abuse identified as LGBT. A total of 0.7%. That means 99.3% of the time, the pedophile was a heterosexual. Oops. All the studies and the fact that we have now show you that the LGBTQ community are not the majority of predators. In fact, they're the ones who are being preyed upon. They are victims, And by the way, they're also very convenient scapegoats for the actual predators. Your kids are statistically safer at a drag show than they are at church. They are safer around members of the LGBTQ community than with your right-wing conservative uncle. Chew on that, Candace. Just a fact. Just a fact. But as we know on this show, Candace Owens cares not about facts. In fact, she went in, I use the word facts a lot. She just went in to claim that discrimination not only is a good thing, but it's normal. It's natural. We should do more of it.
So all I was to say is obviously discrimination is built into us for a reason. It's a survival mechanism, right? We want to survive. And so when we get that feeling, my mother used to refer to it as the heebie-jeebies, when someone just gives you the heebie-jeebies, even if you can't quite put your finger on why, I think you need to lean into that. And I actually think that society would be safer if we discriminated more. What's happening now is insanity because they're telling us to accept everything.
So right there, more us versus them, for one. No, yeah, discrimination is built into us for a reason. Yes, yes. No, it's socialized into us. It's all socialization. Which is why, you had a lot of people, children who are not born racist. See, the right wing loves to come up with weirdo conspiracy theories like, did you know that the left is calling babies racist? No, there are no racist babies. There are families and social groups and communities that will socialize young kids with bigoted ideas. You could almost call it grooming them to be, into a certain set of beliefs, like being racist. Doesn't mean it will always take, of course. Especially when you get out there and you actually go to college or something like that, and you meet other people, or you just, go and meet different people and you realize, oh, it turns out this person's not so bad. That's not what they were saying before, parents or uncles or whatever racist, person is telling you and teaching you racist things. Again, this is all about socialization. And a lot of people, and I grew up in the generation that was very socialized against the LGBTQ community, where transgender people were often the butt of jokes, and they still are, unfortunately. But also gay people were the butt of jokes. There's so much homophobia back in the 90s and early 2000s. When you look back, a lot of the media was so incredibly cringy because of how openly homophobic it was and transphobic. And so, but people like Candace Owens want to continue that into the future. They want to guarantee, or try to guarantee, that there is a socialization, a grooming against the LGBTQ community. And that gets to discrimination and how Candace Owens is an absolute hypocrite when it comes to discrimination. Again, she says we should discriminate against people for literally no reason. It's because I don't like that person. Now, what's funny is that she actually had some help fighting against discrimination that had happened against her for being a black woman. Yes, that's right. The NAACP helped her sue two, young white men who racially discriminated against her and won. In 2007, she accused a pair of young white men for, again, harassing and even threatening her because of the fact that she is black. Owens claimed that the boys were the son of then Stamford Mayor Daniel Malloy, Connecticut's former governor. With the help of the NAACP, Owens' family won that case and received a settlement of $37,500 from Stamford Public Schools. And look, great, discrimination exists. And it is a problem. And Candace Owens Young Candace Owens agreed that it was a problem. And then she realized down the line somewhere that cha-ching, discrimination is a payday for me. So maybe in her mind now it's a good thing because, hey, I got discriminated against, but I got paid, everybody. I got paid. So discrimination is awesome. Look, the thing about Candace Owens that you have to understand is that she's all about the money. That's all she cares about. I think she has shown that she will say and do anything for a paycheck. I don't know what her actual political beliefs are, if she even has any. But she's more than willing to cape for white supremacy, white nationalism, and against the LGBTQ community. That's what she does. She is the ultimate grifter. And right now, again, the right wing has been on this massive moral panic, fueling hatred and discrimination against a group of people who've already been attacked and vilified nonstop. Nonstop. The same right wing, by the way, funny enough, having this moral panic about trans people and gay people and drag queens, that has an issue with their own child predators. And yet they're calling everybody groomers. Mark Foley, Dennis Hastert, Roy Moore, Matt Gaetz, just a couple of examples of the alleged, child predators in the Republican Party. Now, of course, exploitation and child abuse, it shouldn't be a partisan issue. It should be an issue where we all come together and fight against it. But what the right wing is doing is distracting against real predation and making it so that we can't actually protect children from real predators because they're too busy looking at that gay person over there or that teacher that puts up a pride flag. They're disgusting. People like Owens are, who are actually making it so that children are more likely to be harmed by the real predators that are out there. They're using this moral panic about gay people and trans people who don't prey on children as cover. That right wing is actively harming children. And that's not even getting into the fact that they are harming transgender children by saying all these terrible things and trying to ban gender affirming care, which for minors is mainly just socialization, allowing people to use pronouns of their chosen gender, allow them to, style their hair, cut their hair, or grow their hair out, and wear the kind of clothes of which they identify with, the gender. Candace Owens is disgusting. Now, that said, there is extensive research suggesting that a lot of the people, not all of them, but I think a lot of the people that are spreading all of this hysteria are, and you've heard of the phrase, I say it a lot all the time. Every accusation is a confession. It's true. They're projecting, and we have research that those spreading these conspiracy theories are just projecting what they want to do themselves or what are doing themselves onto other people. Now, I'm not saying Candace Owens is one of those people. I don't think Candace Owens, as I said before, is a child predator. But I do think she wants to capitalize on it and make as much money off it as she can. This fear, which unfortunately is hurting real people, human beings. This video, again, is her pulling out the stops to once again to try to be the worst person in the room in the hopes that she can make an extra buck. She is absolutely gross. And I'd love to stay 100 feet away from her. One more story. Go to war on Christmas. Hell yeah. By the way, please give us a like. If you're enjoying the show so far, please give us a like on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever. All right.
Over the years, we've taken on the role of protecting the federal holiday of Christmas.
They don't use the word Christmas because it's not politically correct.
There are some Americans who are offended by any reference to Jesus Christ.
Do you realize that Starbucks wanted to take Christ and Christmas off of their brand new cups? That's why they're just plain red.
They'll say Happy New Year, and they'll say other things.
In fact, do you realize that Starbucks isn't allowed to say Merry Christmas to customers?
There's a full-out war on faith in this country by the other side.
We're saying Merry Christmas again.
Yep, it's that time of year again. We have the war on Christmas, where the right loses its minds over some imaginary attack on the holidays. Let me tell you what. I like the holidays. I like Christmas. I like, I like Thanksgiving. I like Halloween. I like them all. Good stuff, right? But hey, that said, Jesse Waters, can't help but let facts get in the way of a good narrative. And so here is Fox News resident creeper discussing the major battles, one of the major battles they won in the War of Christmas.
America didn't just happen by accident. Our great nation is only here because of battlefield victories, like the Battle of Yorktown, where patriots defeated the British and helped create the United States. Or how about D-Day, where we saved the world from fascism thanks to thousands of brave men who stormed the beaches. And then there was that time in 1980 when we saved the world from Soviet hockey. Today, Primetime scored another major victory for America. We've won the first battle in the war on Christmas. Today, the tiny town of Dedham, Massachusetts, decided that their library will, in fact, put up their annual Christmas tree after some pressure from Primetime.
So, all right. You might be wondering, what the hell is he referring to? What there's a town in Massachusetts that didn't put up a Christmas tree? Oh my God. Yeah, apparently that was the latest Fox News outrage. So let me give you some details on what happened. According to NBC 10 Boston, over the weekend, town employees had been harassed and bullied over whether the libraries, 2 libraries in the area, would put up their annual Christmas tree. Christmas tree. So now, first of all, you had these employees that were harassed. How did we get to this point? Well, of course, Fox News put up a segment. Jesse Waters put up a segment talking about, oh, look at that. We've got, we've got this town in Massachusetts that's not putting up their Christmas tree. And that all started with a social media post that claimed that they were banning Christmas in the libraries because they didn't put up a tree fast enough. Not kidding. As the article notes, at the branch, Endicott holiday decor greets people from the moment they walk into the door. Inside, signs of Christmas and Hanukkah line the shelves, though the tree wasn't put up as of Monday. No tree! Oh, we're mad. We mad. War on Christmas. They're attacking Christmas by not putting up a tree. Ignoring how the tree is actually a pagan decoration stolen by Christians. But whatever. Hey, nobody cares about the history, apparently. But, okay, so what's the problem? They had other decorations that were obviously Christmas decorations. So what, they didn't put up a tree? Who cares? Who cares? Well, apparently, right-wingers care. They went ape shit. And I'm not kidding. They went full on, we're the snowflakes now. And 'tis the season for snowflakes. So, that said, they went after him. Fox News got a hold of the story. Fox News did a segment. And then even more right-wingers across the country piled on because apparently they have nothing better to do than to go and harass 2 libraries about not putting up a goddamn Christmas tree. And so the city ended up having to respond to it. The library director, which is Amber Maroney, who, by the way, in that same segment, was called out by name, which I'm sure helps her greatly in not getting death threats and other, weirdo attacks. She said that Dedham does indeed welcome people who celebrate Christmas and does not ban it. This is something that's happening in 2022. Guys, we're not banning Christmas. Stop threatening us. Please. We didn't ban Christmas. Is a thing that is being said now. Amazing. She said, at the Dedham Public Library, we do our best to respect a wide variety of viewpoints and beliefs in our community, including those who choose to celebrate Christmas and other winter holidays. To be clear, there is no ban on Christmas at the Dedham Library. You know what's funny? The people who are least likely to go to a library are so, pissed off when a library doesn't put up a Christmas tree. Or when a library hosts a drag, Queen Story Hour. Bitch, you don't even read. What? You don't ever go to the library. What are you doing? Why are you so mad? I want to feel included. When you're literally included in everything. I mean, they're such snowflakes. But look, the reason that that this is important, that this is actually a story that I'm talking about, is how the right-wing culture wars are driving threats, intimidation, and attacks against public libraries, as well as, we've seen it with students, we've seen it with school boards, we've seen the right-wing outrage mob take action and threaten people. And it's just, it's driven by again, Fox News, the culture wars, and I think it's in order to distract people. Why is Jesse Waters talking about that and not talking about how, for example, labor strike was just crushed by the Biden administration? You would think that if you're pro-worker, if you care about people, if you care about labor, that you would talk about this. Did they talk about it? Did they talk about the labor strike? No. They talk about the fact that so few people in this country have paid leave, don't have insurance or don't have medical leave, don't have child care. Are they talking about this issues? No. What about the culture war? That's what they're. What about drag queens? What about lack of Christmas trees? There's kids out there that are not going to get presents. It's not because of Biden inflation. Or maybe it is. Well, let's be honest. The inflation that we're seeing right now is a result of corporate price gouging, but they don't talk about that either. They do talk about corporations, but only in the context of them being too woke. That's their focus. That's their focus. Now, Amber also had this to say in a statement. What is played out on social media is unfortunate. It has negatively impacted our staff and the community. Frankly, transpired before we had even started our seasonal decorating. And as we finish decorating for this holiday season, Christmas trees will be put up at both locations. Again, it doesn't matter. It never mattered. Okay, Christmas trees. You're still not going to go to the library because guess what? That involves you actually reading. And I doubt many of the people that are complaining about this even know how. The whole thing was ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And it's a distraction from real issues. And once again, Fox News leading the charge with their ridiculous war on Christmas and their culture war nonsense outrage. Well then, that's all I got for the show today. Well, that was a nice little foray into Crazy Town, isn't it? As usual. Okay, so please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. This is out, of course. Let's see. Let's do a raid. Raid into Deep Dive. Great work over there. You want to hear somebody talk about real issues? Jordan Ewell talks about a lot of real issues. That's why it's deep dive. And so, I'm going to go direct to our Twitch audience there. Everyone else, once again, thank you for going around the nation today. Like and share the stream. Check out our videos. I've got no details on the Farron videos yet, but trust me, when they come out, I will share them. So with that, thank you all. Great evening. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Night, everybody. Remember, war on Christmas. We must win. We must prevail.
Beta bear.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Please clap.
Don't you? I tell you, don't do it.
Obama. Dumps. Big, massive dumps.
We have to keep our country gay.
Oh my God! The unlimited!
They're kicking me out the door. They're kicking me out the door.